finally ditching suspension cradle bushings and differential bushings for something a little bit more solid. Let's get into it. Today's Lethal Garage video is sponsored by none other than Lethal Garage. Check out our custom flex fuel kits using OEM parts direct from GM. Check it out at lethalgarage.com. What's going on, guys? Matt over here with Lethal Garage, and today we're going with something a little bit stiffer.
I like that.
We are doing some upgrades to the Lethal Camaro. We're over here at Red Barn Racing with Mike. As you guys know, Mike, he's been on the channel for years at this point, years and years. And last time we were at the track, we have some video footage. Well, actually, they saw it with eyeballs. The rear end is just shaking like no other. So I've always just had the stock bushings and suspension pieces and all that stuff on the vehicle, and today we're gonna resolve that. We're using two separate pieces to resolve this, and down below in the description I'll link to all the products that I purchased that are going onto the car if this is something you're interested in. Obviously, we're not going to be taking the car out to the track today to report back on the differences and everything, but what I will highlight is my car is a 2016 SS. It does have mag ride control on it currently. We are running stock springs on the car, and we have nothing but hop issues and launch problems with the power that the car's putting out. So we're hoping that this will just put us one step closer to resolving some of these problems, tighten up, get rid of all of the flex and all the other stuff, and just dial in the car. I think what I'm going to be doing is putting the Viking Performance shocks and coils and stuff on the car as well. Haven't purchased those yet, and then delete the mag ride. I think that's where we're at. Also talking with BMR, or not BMR, but Ibach, who also has a set of drag springs that they're getting ready to release to the market. So that may be another thing we swap up as well as we get the car ready to go racing again. So we'll get into why we haven't gone racing in a while. Most of it has to do with my kids and spending money on other projects, but let's get into the parts and pieces. So in this, I purchased from BMR, not just the rear cradle replacement bushing kit. These things are freaking huge and nice. There's a lot of them. I didn't realize there was this many pieces. And then also working with Fastech for the differential bushings. And these are an offset setup that, you know, if you know the difference between regular and offset, people can make arguments either which way, but supposedly this can help with 60-foot wheel hop, just all the things. So puts the your half shafts in a better position so they're not taking as much torture, etc., etc. I've read, you know, I'm not a professional suspension guy, but I've read and have heard good and didn't notice a different kind of things. So for me, it's why not? Let's try it out. Again, I'll put a link to what these are. Fastech sells quite a few different products, but I'll link to these ones that we're putting in my car down below in the description. So this is what we're installing today for this video. I'm gonna try to document it as much as possible. We'll see if I can get down there. So if you didn't know, I tore a tendon in my shoulder. So my left arm is basically useless, and I'm going to try to help Mike as much as possible today. But I'm pretty sure he's like, no, you're not. Last time we dropped the rear cradle on this car, we were both under the car with our legs doing squats for the most part.
If that happens, I'm calling Jessica.
We both just had leg day this morning too, so it's going to be fun. So let's get into it. There's all sorts of fun that needs to take place, such as removing the exhaust system so we can get access to the cradle and the rear diff. Mike hates this exhaust, primarily because I did the GM body kit that closes out the exhaust, so it makes it kind of a pain to just drop it. You kind of have to pull it forward and then drop it. Mike, how much do you love this exhaust?
A lot better since we added these clamps up front.
Oh, well, yeah. We did slip fit up front, so it makes it a little bit easier now, but it has been a nightmare, just because of this right here. That's it. So I think at this point I should also highlight, you know, I am running the BMR full rear cradle brace. You can kind of see it up in there, right in here. We have the rear of cradle brace piece in there, but I never put the front of cradle brace pieces in there. And that's changing as well today. So we got the front of cradle brace pieces. Should hopefully help it stiffen up a little bit better over the GM just flat steel pieces. You know, I don't know at the end of the day if it's going to make that big of a difference, but the other side of things is we are going to be replacing the motor mounts as well. So we have the BMR motor mounts. That's going to be in a different video, probably, maybe, if we get to that today. All right, so for the differential bushings, if you don't have a way to pop out the factory rubbers, just give up. Just run away. Mike's got this pretty cool tool, and it just pushes this stock mount right out, but it seems like it's a giant pain in the butt. Is it a pain in the butt, Mike?
It's been worse. It's been way worse.
This is just to show you we didn't do it the ghetto way. So most people will light this thing on fire and cut the sleeve out and just make a mess of things. So Mike's tool made it a little easier, but unfortunately we're not having the best of luck on the other side. So he's trying to heat it up right now to get the sleeve to move, because the other sleeve just does not want to start sliding. Do you notice?
Is it original 327 car?
Do you notice the difference?
What?
That one came out easy. This is a pretty typical result. The rubber separates from the steel sleeve. And I don't know what side that is. Is that the driver? That is the driver's side.
That's driver's side.
The driver's side, the casing makes it really hard for the tool to get in there. So now we got to MacGyver the metal sleeve out. But yeah, this is part of the fun. If you guys have done this before and were successful on both sides, I'd love to hear what you went through. But yeah, we got one out really nicely. This one hates our lives. And Sawzall later, sleeve is out. The rear diff bushing, we didn't really have the right tools for, so we basically just redneck removed it, heated up with a blowtorch. So cut the metal sleeve, and now it's popping right out. And so Mike's just pounding it out.
Yeah, pound it out real good.
I'm starting to realize why Fast Tech wanted me to do this video. Because I know Ricardo does not want to do this work. And he basically signed... Actually, when I said yes, was me signing Mike up to do this. And Mike's like, it's the first time I've done it on the 6th gen. Let's do it. Now that we got the differential sorted, we're moving to the cradle. You got to disconnect everything. So obviously we disconnected the half shafts, disconnected the drive shaft, took the differential out. We got the pressure off on the rear springs. And now we're just removed the front of cradle brace. Front of? Yeah. And we got tension up on the setup because we're about to pull the main bolts, holding everything in. We have a cradle. So now that we have the cradle out, we got to get all these fun bushings. This is going to be a pain in the butt.
Pain in the rear end?
If you didn't know, Maple Fed's here.
Forever.
Yeah, just do that a couple more times. Mike in his wondrous ways got the bushings out front and back. Don't mind the pile of melted rubber and metal. Definitely, if you have a puller, I've seen this done a couple times. Jake Cunningham showed doing it with a 3-pole and a bolt.
Yeah.
It's possible, but the top ones came out pretty easy. The bottom ones were a little harder. So the fronts were a little rough. We unruffled them. Just
Ruffles have edges.
a little sander.
They're a little coarse.
Got rid of the rough edges. Let's see if it just... I'm not going to say it.
Doesn't want to go.
And she's in. So, got the cradle back under the car. Getting her all in place. So the replacement bolts that come in the kit, they actually go on the front side with the ginormous. Actually, I think the front and rears have the aluminum washers.
Washer.
But when we get the car back up in the air, we'll show you a little more detail.
Slipped out.
You know, that's pretty handy.
It is. You know, for
Is that for a transmission or is
Yeah,
that?
it's actually a transmission jack from Pittsburgh.
Oh,
And
nice.
it's a Harbor Freight cheapie, and this thing is so just.
Man, you're gonna really make me use the bleeps, aren't you?
It's clutch. What do you mean? Oh, hi guys. Here, I'll run the audio.
So, thanks to Mike's trans jack, made putting the rear diff in a heck of a lot easier. Obviously, it's going up a little bit higher with those offset bushings.
Okay.
There she goes. So I just realized we didn't record you sliding that bushing in. But yeah, he slid the bushing in. And now he's trying to get the rear end to be lined up so he can actually get the...
I did it very, very sneaky like. I'm kind of hoping.
You think that's actually going to work?
It's probably not.
I think you have better luck.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Removing the rear differential?
No. I was thinking if you have like a... I don't know. How tight is that? Is it like super tight in there?
Oi. Oi.
So getting that thing to move is going to be a nightmare.
Yep. Yep. Here, so let's do.
This is a fun problem you might run into.
Yep. So.
Lining that bolt hole up with the rear diff.
Yeah, it appears as if I just missed it.
I thought you had it partially threaded before we got the fronts on.
Yeah, I know.
Thought.
Yeah, because of the way the differential was pointed, I couldn't get a straight shot at it.
Oh, so it wouldn't. Okay.
Yeah, so I had to get that front up, and I was like, well, I've got the front up, I might as well stick the bolts in it. So, here we are.
Well, we got all the bolts tightened up, good to go. Now we're slamming everything together. You can see the rear cradle braces in, and it looks like Kyle just grabbed one of the front cradle braces. That's a lot of bracing. Front of cradle brace. Yeah, that's going in there. Sweet. Kind of see how that all sandwiches together. Don't have that all bolted up yet, but held together. Here's the front setup. Oh, it's so dark in here. Do I have light? Flashlight. There you can kind of see. You can see how that all sandwiches together there as well. Well, we got solid bushings in the rear. We got the poly bushings on the rear diff that are offset, that Mike hates. Never call Red Barn Racing to have offset bushings installed.
It'd be really expensive.
But car's on the ground. It's good. It's good. What it's going to do, if it's going to help, what sounds it's going to make, that's for another time, gentlemen. But thanks for joining me in this video. It's been a while since I posted a video, so. Huge shout out to Red Barn Racing. If you guys need motor work, flex fuel installs, tunes, superchargers, cams, all that stuff, Mike, Red Barn Racing. If you need a Canadian to make fun of your build, hit up Maple Fed.
Oh yeah, it's not just builds. I talk about your sandals too.
Yeah, thank you.
So Keith.
Hey, you guys know, I've been rocking sandals forever and I still have all my feet. There was a time a propane tank tried to remove my big toe, but that was a propane tank. I got 6 toes. Oh, but that's it, guys. Till next time. See you on the road.